February 5th, 1985. You open your eyes for the first time. You're on an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, Madeira, Portugal, a place most people couldn't find on a map. Your mother's name is Maria Dolores. She almost didn't have you. She asked a doctor to end the pregnancy. He refused. She tried on her own, drank hot alcohol, ran until she collapsed from exhaustion. It didn't work. Faith, or fate, kept you here. Your father, Jose Diniz, is a gardener by day. On weekends, he's the kit man at Andorinha CF, the neighborhood soccer club. He washes jerseys, lines up boots, rolls balls onto the pitch. Soccer isn't just Portugal's national religion. It's your inheritance. You're born into it the way other children are born into a language. No one in that hospital knows what just happened. A boy was born who will one day be watched by half the planet. But right now, you're just another baby from a poor family in a small island. You grow up with almost nothing, and it makes you obsessed with everything. Your house is tiny. You share space with your siblings, Hugo, Elma, Liliana. Your father drinks. Not violently, but consistently. A slow wound in the background of your childhood. Your mother works cleaning floors and cooking for other families so yours can eat. On Sundays, the whole island stops. Not for church, or not only for church, for soccer. The cafes fill before noon. Old men argue about formations the way other people argue about politics. The TV is always on. Soccer is Portugal's #1 sport and the country's main obsession. Your father names you Ronaldo after Ronald Reagan, former United States president and his favorite actor. The American name on a Portuguese baby in a poor island becomes a joke before it becomes a brand. Your first real games happen in the narrow streets of your neighborhood, almost always against older boys. You have to be faster and braver, or you lose the ball. At 8, you join Andorinha FC, the amateur club where your father takes care of the kits. On the field, you are so fast they call you Abelhinha, or Little B in English. When your team loses or teammates don't pass you the ball, you cry so much they also call you a crybaby. But in Portugal, there's a soccer ball on the street. Always a soccer ball. You play barefoot on concrete. You play until your knees bleed. You play when it's dark and you can barely see the ball. The other kids go home. You stay. This is not discipline yet. It's compulsion. Something in you needs it. You don't know why. You just know that when you're running with the ball, nothing else exists. At school, you're restless, unfocused. Teachers don't know what to do with you. But the soccer coaches notice something they can't quite explain. You move differently. You want it more. Whatever it is, you have it in a way that makes people stop and watch. You're 8 years old when you leave home for the first time. Sporting CP, one of Portugal's biggest clubs, wants you for their academy in Lisbon. It's 900 kilometers from Madeira. You've never been away from your mother. You've never been on a plane. You arrive in a city that doesn't care about you, surrounded by boys who are bigger, older, and more confident, and they hear your accent immediately. Madeiran, island. The boys in Lisbon mock the way you speak, the rhythm of it, the vowels, the islander cadence that marks you as an outsider the second you open your mouth. You are not just homesick. You are reminded every single day that you don't belong. You cry at night. Not sometimes. Every night for weeks. You call your mother and can barely speak. Some boys quit and go home. But you don't. Quitting feels worse than the pain of staying. The loneliness hardens into focus. Every training session becomes a war you fight against the version of yourself that wants to give up. The coaches start noticing. The other boys start noticing too, but not in a friendly way. You're different. You train too hard. You want too much. In a field full of kids that makes you a target. But you don't stop. By 12, everyone at Sporting CP knows your name. You are a right winger with a left foot that doesn't match your age. Fast, technical, obsessive in training. Coaches have never seen a kid request extra sessions the way you do, staying behind after everyone leaves, repeating the same moves until they are automatic. At 14, doctors find a heart condition, tachycardia, an irregular racing heartbeat. You undergo laser surgery. The career almost ends before it starts. You are back on the pitch within weeks. At 15, Sporting's first team plays Manchester United in a pre-season friendly. United wins the match. But Sir Alex Ferguson spends the next 90 minutes watching you take apart his defenders. At full time, his own players, Rio Ferdinand, John O'Shea, Roy Keane, walk up to Ferguson and tell him to sign you. He agrees on the spot. In 2003, you sign for Manchester United, 16 years old, £24 million contract. The number 7 shirt, the same shirt worn by Eric Cantona, David Beckham, George Best. No pressure. Old Trafford, 76,000 seats. You debut on August 2003 as a substitute against Bolton Wanderers. The crowd sees something immediately. A skinny kid from a Portuguese island doing step-overs at full speed, drawing fouls, demanding the ball. Ferguson gives you the freedom to express yourself. You use every inch of it. The first 3 seasons are development. You score. You create. You also fall, dribbling too much, losing the ball, still raw. Ferguson protects you from the pressure. He calls you the most gifted young player he has ever seen. Then 2006, World Cup in Germany. Portugal versus England quarterfinals. Your club teammate Wayne Rooney gets sent off. Cameras catch you winking at the Portugal bench. England goes into a rage. The British press calls you a traitor and a fraud. You return to Manchester under a storm of criticism. You respond the only way you know how. In the 2007 season, you score 23 goals. In next season, you score 42 goals in all competitions, a Manchester United record. You win the Premier League. You win the Champions League. You win the Ballon d'Or. The kid who arrived crying at Lisbon airport at 8 years old just became the best soccer player on the planet. In the summer of 2009, Real Madrid pay $80 million for you. A world record. No player in history has ever cost this much. You are presented at the Bernabeu in front of 80,000 fans. White shirt, your name on the back, number 9. The noise is unlike anything you have experienced, and you have played in the Premier League for 6 years. But your father never sees this. José Diniz died in September 2005 from alcohol-related liver failure. He was 52. The man who washed jerseys at a dirt pitch in Madeira on Saturday mornings never made it to Madrid. At Real Madrid, you deliver numbers the sport has never seen. In your first season, 33 goals, then 53, then 60. In the 2012 season, you score 50 goals in La Liga alone, a record that still stands. You win the Ballon d'Or again, and again, and again. But one rival keeps pace with you, Lionel Messi, Barcelona. Between 2008 and 2017, one of you wins the Ballon d'Or every single year without exception. The rivalry splits the entire soccer world in half. 9 years at Real Madrid. 438 appearances, 450 goals, the highest scoring player in the club's entire history, a club founded in 1902. You win the Champions League 4 times. In 2016, 2017, and 2018, 3 consecutive titles. No player has ever done that in the modern era. In 2016, Portugal reached the final of the European Championship. Your country has never won the tournament. You tear your knee ligaments in the 25th minute of the final against France. You cannot continue. You spend the rest of the match on the sideline, on your feet, coaching your teammates through every set piece, every substitution, screaming instructions from the technical area. Portugal win 1-0 in extra time. You collapse on the pitch in tears. It is your only major international trophy. Your country had waited 56 years for it. By the time you leave Real Madrid in 2018, you have scored more Champions League goals than any player in history. The record currently stands at 140 and counting. In 2017, Spanish tax authorities charge you with 4 counts of tax fraud, $14.7 million in unpaid taxes between 2011 and 2014. You deny the charges. In 2019, you accept a settlement, $18.8 million in fines, and a 23-month suspended prison sentence. No jail time served. In July 2018, you leave Real Madrid for Juventus, $100 million transfer contract. Serie A, Italy. A new country, a new language, a new challenge at 33 years old, an age when most players are already retired. At Juventus, you win 2 Serie A titles and score 101 goals in 134 appearances. But the Champions League, the competition that defined your Madrid years, does not come. Juventus is knocked out in the round of 16 in consecutive seasons. At Euro 2020, you sit down for a press conference. 2 Coca-Cola bottles are in front of you. You push them away, Lift a bottle of water and say one word. Agua. The clip goes viral. In a few hours, Coca-Cola loses billions in market value on the stock market. You don't say their name once, you just move 2 bottles, and the biggest soft drink company on the planet is reminded how much your influence is worth. In 2021, you return to Manchester United. The reunion is complicated. The club is struggling. The manager changes twice. The team around you is far below the level you need. In November 2022, you give a televised interview to Piers Morgan directly criticizing the club, the manager, and the owners. Manchester United terminate your contract by mutual agreement 2 days later. At 37, you are without a club for the first time in your career. In January 2023, you sign for Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Reported salary, $200 million per year. Every major European outlet publishes the same take. This is a retirement. A final payday. In your first full season, you score 54 goals. The following season, 50 more. You win the Arab Club Champions Cup. You break the all-time international goals record, passing Ali Day's mark of 109 goals for Iran. You reach 120 international goals for Portugal, then 130. But 2022 also brings the worst moment of your personal life. In April, your partner Georgina Rodriguez gives birth to twins. One of them, a boy, dies during childbirth. You announce the loss on social media. 4 days later, you are back on the pitch. You score. Grief, for you, has always had the same address, the training ground. You are now the all-time top scorer in men's international soccer history. No one else is close. 5 Ballon d'Or awards, 3 Premier League, 2 La Liga, 2 Serie A, 5 Champions League titles, 140 Champions League goals, the all-time record. Over 130 international goals for Portugal, the all-time record in men's soccer. The most followed person on Instagram in human history, over 600 million followers. A museum dedicated to you in Madeira, the CR7 Museum, opened in 2013. An international airport in Madeira renamed in your honor, Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport. Your firstborn son, Cristiano Jr., is now a professional soccer player in the Al Nassr Academy. He wears the number 7. The kid who played barefoot on concrete in Madeira is now the most statistically decorated soccer player in the history of the sport. You are now 41 years old, still playing professional soccer, still scoring. The Saudi Pro League is not the Champions League. Critics have said that since day one. You don't care. You reply the only way you know. You score. You have scored over 100 goals in Saudi Arabia since then. You have 4 children. Cristiano Jr., born 2010. Twins Eva and Mateo, born 2017. And Alana Martina, born in 2017. You train every morning before they wake up. You have done this for 25 years without interruption. Discipline is your secret. Discipline is freedom. Your mother, Maria Dolores, the woman who once ran until she collapsed, trying not to have you, lives in a house you bought her in Madeira. She attends your matches. She wears your jersey. The Andorinha CF ground where your father once lined up boots now has a statue of you at the entrance. The pitch where it all started. You have lifted almost every trophy a player can win, but there is still one thing missing. A World Cup. In 2026, you know you will walk into your last World Cup with one last chance to change that. Good luck. Madeira never forgot where you came from. And you never forgot Madeira. If this video hit different, leave a like and subscribe for more. It helps more than you think. Thanks for watching.